you're telling me right now is to end my mining season.
Well, you know what? Sucks to be you.
Tony Beets, the king of the Klondike, was brought to his knees when Parker Schnabel used inspectors to expose his biggest mistakes. Indian River, once Tony's golden dream, turned into a disaster zone as inspectors shut down his operation. Meanwhile, Parker's mining empire thrived, bringing in millions with precision and speed that Tony couldn't match. Could this be the moment when Parker finally overtakes the legendary Beets dynasty? Let us dive deeper into this battle of fortunes that caused Parker to flee the country in fear for his own life. The flood that shattered their dreams. Tony's first major obstacle came when his Indian River claim flooded. For weeks, the crew worked tirelessly to drain the area and prepare it for mining. The process was grueling, and every step forward seemed to come with its own set of problems. Just when it seemed things might finally start moving, the monumental task of resurrecting the wash plant began. This massive machine, which had sat idle for 4 years, needed to be reassembled piece by piece. The 7-ton shaker deck, 2-ton spray bars, and countless bolts and cables all had to align perfectly. Each move was a gamble, and every mistake threatened to derail the entire operation. Before we dive deeper, it's clear that what they uncovered inside the wash plant was far more devastating than anyone anticipated. And this won't be the only thing that will shock you.
What's the plan here, Dad?
What we're gonna do here, we're pretty lucky we have this. We got about 40 feet of double spay over there. You see all them gravel holes spay in here.
After countless hours of back-breaking work, the wash plant was finally ready to roar back to life. But as luck would have it, another issue cropped up. A critical flaw was discovered that could jeopardize the entire operation. The crew pushed through exhaustion, determined to make the machine functional. With tempers flaring and every setback piling on the pressure, they managed to get the plant ready for transport to the cut. Yet, just as hope was beginning to shine through the cracks, the inspectors arrived. The unannounced visit from Yukon mining authorities was like a punch to the gut. After combing through permits, the officials dropped a bombshell. The water license was incomplete. Instead of being allowed to mine 15 acres as planned, they were restricted to just 1. This oversight was catastrophic, bringing the Indian River operation to an abrupt halt. The crew, who had poured their hearts into the work, now faced an uncertain future. For many, their livelihoods depended on the success of this season, and morale plummeted as reality set in. With Indian River effectively shut down, the only choice was to return to Paradise Hill. This site, which had been put on hold, now represented the last shot at salvaging the season. But the challenges at Paradise Hill were just as daunting.
We're gonna get Mike over there to give us a hand. He put this thing together before a couple times, so we want a secure man on there to make sure everything goes right.
The site had been neglected for weeks, and getting it operational again would require time and resources, 2 things that were in short supply. Meanwhile, Parker Schnabel's operation was thriving. The young miner hit his targets with precision, pulling gold by the truckload. His meticulous planning and efficiency were paying off, making his success look effortless. The contrast between the 2 miners couldn't have been more glaring. While Parker's methodical approach kept his operation running like clockwork, the reactive and chaotic style at Paradise Hill was crumbling under the pressure. The failure at Indian River was a harsh lesson in the importance of careful planning. The incomplete water license was an avoidable mistake, but admitting this misstep was a bitter pill to swallow. As the clock ticked down, the pressure mounted. The reputation of the king of the Klondike was on the line, and every day without gold deepened the crisis. Back at Paradise Hill, the team worked tirelessly to revive the operation. The scale was smaller than Indian River, but it was their only chance to salvage what was left of the season. The crew raced against time, repairing equipment and preparing the ground for mining. Every minute counted, and the stakes had never been higher. The financial investment was massive, and the pressure to produce was relentless. Despite the setbacks, there was no giving up. The fight to prove that success was still possible drove the team forward, even as doubts loomed large. While struggles continued at Paradise Hill, Parker's success became a source of frustration and envy. The young miner's operation was a model of efficiency, pulling in gold and profits at a staggering rate. His rise to the top solidified his status as one of the Klondike's most successful miners. Watching Parker's dominance was a harsh reminder of what was possible with the right approach. The gap between their fortunes was glaring, and the pressure to perform only grew as the season wore on. Despite the determination, the challenges at Paradise Hill were relentless. The reassembled equipment faced new issues, and time was slipping away.
Now when they're going to be down, we have enough problems without creating some because of neglect, especially if it's going to cost you $100 or better grand a day. There's nothing funny about it, right?
The season's final weeks loomed, and the need for a big win was more urgent than ever. The crew pushed forward, driven by the hope of turning things around. But as the stakes climbed higher, the odds seemed increasingly stacked against them. Parker's operation, meanwhile, continued to shine as a beacon of success. His meticulous planning and flawless execution allowed him to mine gold at an unprecedented rate. Parker's ability to avoid major setbacks and stay ahead of the curve made him the season's undeniable star. For those at Paradise Hill, it was a bitter comparison. The chaotic season highlighted the cost of poor planning and mismanagement, while Parker's triumphs underscored the value of efficiency and foresight. As the season drew to a close, the fight for redemption remained uncertain. The challenges faced were immense, and the losses had taken their toll on the crew and the leader's reputation. Paradise Hill offered a glimmer of hope, but the clock was ticking. For Parker Schnabel, the season was a resounding success, cementing his place as the new face of gold mining in the Klondike. The contrast between their fortunes couldn't have been clearer, leaving viewers to wonder if the reign of the king of the Klondike was finally over. After the setback at Indian River, moving to Paradise Hill gave the crew hope, but it also brought bigger problems that pushed them to their limits. Holding the line at Paradise Hill. Reviving Paradise Hill wasn't some walk in the park. It was a juggling act of epic proportions. First, the roads had to be cleared, which meant hours of dealing with stubborn terrain. Then, every piece of machinery begged for attention, breaking down just when it was needed most. The crew's dwindling resources turned every small hiccup into a major ordeal. This wasn't just hard work, it was a marathon of grit and creativity, with each day throwing fresh chaos their way. One of the nastiest headaches was the water supply. Managing water flow is the backbone of mining, and without it, nothing moves forward. But with parts delayed and funds stretched thin, the team had to patch together makeshift solutions that barely held up. It felt like trying to put out a wildfire with a squirt gun. Each delay cut deeper into the crew's morale, yet giving up was off the table. The team soldiered on, their nerves stretched tighter than a drum. And then there were the leadership struggles. When deadlines hovered like storm clouds, the demanding leadership style clashed with an already stressed-out team. Tensions flared, tempers snapped, and yet they all kept their eyes on the prize. This wasn't just about hitting gold. It was about proving they could still cut it in an industry that's unforgiving at best. The stakes were sky high, and every decision felt like a roll of the dice. The toll wasn't just on the crew. The leader, once a symbol of unshakable confidence, began to crack under the pressure. Sleepless nights and endless second-guessing took their toll. This wasn't just about mining. It was about holding on to a legacy, staying relevant in a world where the game was changing fast. Gold was found at Paradise Hill, but the numbers weren't even close to the 6,000 ounces they'd hoped for. The financial blow from Indian River's disaster hit even harder, and the so-called King of the Klondike saw his crown slipping. Meanwhile, Parker Schnabel was stealing the spotlight. His season was a roaring success, a shining contrast to the struggles at Paradise Hill. While others scrambled to keep their operations afloat, Parker's was a gold-pulling machine. His methodical approach, modern equipment, and sharp crew left no room for error. He wasn't just in the game, he was rewriting the rules, proving that the future of mining belonged to those who embraced innovation and efficiency. For the veteran miner, this season was a brutal reality check. The Klondike doesn't care how long you've been in the game. It'll chew you up and spit you out if you don't adapt. Looking ahead, the lessons were clear. careful planning and a willingness to evolve were non-negotiable.
I see. I don't like it. It's crooked.
Yeah, we're working on it.
Anyway, good. Let me know when you put some rocks in it.
Yeah, we'll get her level, hook up the water.
I'm out of here.
The question now was whether those lessons could be turned into a comeback, or if this season's failures marked the beginning of the end. Mining in the Klondike isn't for the faint of heart. It's a race against time, where every moment matters, and the elements are out to get you. Spring doesn't gently arrive. It's more like a buzzer signaling the start of a high-stakes game. Rivers thaw, ground soften, and every miner rushes to squeeze every ounce of gold out of the earth before winter slams the door shut. This isn't about being tough. It's about outlasting the chaos. The veteran miner took his biggest gamble yet, moving his entire operation to Indian River. On paper, it looked bold. In practice, it was a logistical nightmare. Flooded grounds delayed the start, and resurrecting an old wash plant became a circus act that nobody wanted to watch. Each lost day felt like a gut punch, with frustration spilling over in waves. To make matters worse, the water license turned into a bureaucratic disaster. Instead of working on 15 acres, they were stuck with one measly acre. Imagine being invited to a feast and getting handed a single cracker. Months of planning, mountains of cash, and countless hours of labor all felt like they were going down the drain. The Indian River project was officially a bust. Back at Paradise Hill, things weren't much better. Water management became an endless headache. Without a steady flow to the wash plant, progress slowed to a crawl. Quick fixes kept things moving, but just barely. The whole operation felt like it was held together with duct tape and prayers. On the flip side, Parker's camp was a well-oiled machine. His investments in cutting-edge tech paid off big time. Mobile wash plants and advanced monitoring systems turned his operation into a gold factory. While others struggled to stay afloat, Parker thrived. His success wasn't just luck. It was a masterclass in preparation and precision. The contrast between the two miners couldn't have been starker. On one side, a veteran trying to hold on to the past. On the other, a young gun blazing a trail into the future. Parker's efficiency and innovation were a slap in the face to old-school methods. It was clear the Klondike was evolving, and only those willing to adapt would survive. As the season neared its end, the huge difference between the two miners became clear, with each rushing to make the most of what little time was left. When planning became the new gold. The Klondike season came to an intense close, with miners scrambling to make the most of every ounce of gold. One miner's operation was nothing short of a masterclass in precision and innovation. His cleanups weren't just good, they were legendary, leaving his competitors stunned and proving that smart planning beats desperate digging any day. Meanwhile, over at Paradise Hill, the haul was a pale shadow of the expected 6,000 ounces, and the disaster at Indian River left a financial crater impossible to ignore. For Tony, it was a harsh reminder that even the king of the Klondike could falter when preparation took a back seat. The successful miner ended his season on a high note, standing tall with stacks of gold and a confident grin. His message was loud and clear: brute strength alone doesn't cut it anymore. In today's mining world, strategy and adaptability rule. For Tony, however, the silence of the machines as winter set in carried a somber tone. His setbacks weren't just about gold, they were a wake-up call, forcing him to confront the reality of an industry that's evolving faster than some can keep up with. The differences between these two miners couldn't be more striking. The operation that stood out ran like a well-oiled machine, thanks to a focus on clear communication and mutual respect within the team. Investment in training and the use of cutting-edge technology monitored every aspect of the site, from soil quality to equipment performance. This meticulous approach meant fewer breakdowns, more efficiency, and record-breaking cleanups that put it miles ahead of the competition. In contrast, Tony's operation faced logistical nightmares, with broken machinery and a crew stretched to their limits.
We'll bang it through the trommel, make your mother happy, and off we go. Make some money.
Perfect, let's do it.
Despite their relentless efforts, the cracks in the operation and in team morale were hard to miss. Leadership played a pivotal role in the season's outcomes. Tony's abrasive style, marked by sharp critiques and relentless demands, created tension within his crew. While some thrived under pressure, others struggled, and the growing strain led to tempers flaring and mistakes piling up. On the flip side, the calm and professional approach of one miner fostered a sense of unity and purpose. This team operated with an efficiency that reflected their leader's belief in preparation and innovation, proving that respect and teamwork can yield extraordinary results. Beyond the physical challenges of mining in the Klondike's unforgiving terrain, regulatory hurdles added another layer of complexity. Tony's misstep with a water license wasn't just costly, it was a glaring example of how neglecting details could derail an entire season. The miner who excelled stayed ahead by addressing every detail, no matter how small. His ability to navigate these modern challenges gave him a clear advantage, underscoring the importance of a forward-thinking mindset in today's mining world. As the season wore on, the financial and emotional tolls became evident. Tony's crew battled exhaustion and frustration, with the constant breakdowns and delays testing their limits. Yet, even amidst the chaos, there was a sheer determination to press on. Failure wasn't an option for a team with so much at stake. The successful crew, in contrast, tackled their tasks with confidence, buoyed by a leader who prioritized their growth and well-being. With winter covering the Klondike in snow, the miners had to make tough choices and big plans that could change everything in the next season. The cost of falling behind. The off-season brought different approaches for the two miners. For Tony, it was a time to reflect and regroup, as the financial hit from Indian River demanded serious reassessment. Budgets were tightened, debts loomed, and retaining the core team became a top priority. Meetings were held, plans were revised, and a softer tone emerged, a rare but necessary shift to keep the team intact. For the miner who succeeded, the off-season was all about building momentum. Funds were poured into advanced technology, promising new claims were secured, and experts were brought in to analyze and improve every aspect of the operation. The meticulous preparation wasn't just about the next season, it was about setting a new standard for the industry. The willingness to adapt and innovate made this miner the Klondike's rising star, someone who wasn't content with resting on their laurels. Meanwhile, Tony faced a time of reckoning as the limitations of traditional methods became painfully clear. The contrast between these two miners reflected the broader challenges and opportunities of the modern mining world. As spring approached, the stakes couldn't have been higher. The unforgiving wilderness of the Klondike awaited, and both men knew the next season would be a defining one. For Tony, the question loomed, could he adapt and evolve to stay in the game? For the miner leading the charge, it was a chance to cement a legacy and push the boundaries of what's possible in mining.
It's leaking through the dike already. Look at it. It starts with a trickle, but it don't take very long. And you'd have a river going.
The Klondike gold rush was far from over, and the coming season promised to be as unpredictable and intense as ever. The financial impact of the season's challenges lingered heavily over Tony's operation. Rebuilding Paradise Hill wasn't just about fixing machinery, it was about regaining trust and momentum. The crew's loyalty, shaken but not broken, became a focal point in the plans for the future. For the standout miner, the stakes were different. Record-breaking success validated the methods used, but it also raised expectations for what could be achieved next. Tony's struggles highlighted the fragility of old-school mining in a rapidly evolving industry. The setbacks at Indian River and Paradise Hill weren't just about misfortune, they were a testament to the risks of clinging to outdated practices. The standout miner's success was a clear signal that the future belonged to those willing to embrace change. The investment in technology and data-driven decision-making set a new benchmark, one that other miners would be hard-pressed to match. The contrast between these two miners wasn't just about gold totals. It was about a shift in the mining industry itself. Tony represented the resilience and grit of traditional mining, but his struggles showed the limits of that approach in today's world. The miner who embraced modern methods and a forward-thinking mindset embodied the new era of mining, one where innovation and adaptability are key. As the Klondike fell silent under a blanket of snow, the miners' reflections were as much about the past as they were about the future. For Tony, it was a time to confront hard truths and find a way to adapt. For the standout miner, it was a moment to build on momentum and prepare for even greater challenges ahead. The Klondike Gold Rush was far from over, and both miners knew the next chapter would be crucial in defining their legacies. Is Parker Schnabel's success just the result of hard work, or did he cross the line by using inspectors to bring Tony Beets down? Could this rivalry mark the end of Tony's legendary reign in the Klondike? Tell us what you think in the comments, and don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more.